firepower, and that's why, hopefully, they will be allowed to unfold that. Like I said, FURIA did such a great job at shutting it down and playing, you know, a good mix of like slow and fast Counter-Strike, but especially the slow style is hard if you're an inexperienced team to be up against. Wouldn't be surprised if MongolZ are going to be, you know, like I said, a little bit more willing to fight. So that's what I'm praying for. I'm not going to ask you. We're all going to be picking MongolZ for this one. But let's just see if we're wrong. Maybe we are. We're going to get into it right now. MongolZ going to be starting on the T side. It will be Apogee on the CT side as we're setting off into Ancient for the first pistol round.
Indeed, and 9-10 already out into middle. Had, alongside Senzu, one of the better performances in their previous loss to 3D Max. Is a very slow game for Techno and Mazinho, so they'll be hoping to pick up the slack a little bit here. And speaking of Techno, he's already through into the cave. A pretty standard setup. No players on A for Apogee for the time being. 9-10 rattling off some shots, doing damage, but no kills so far.
He's got so much information. The fact that he saw two people there in the red room, I don't think they've spotted out Demo just yet towards the donut position, but having this kind of info is already a lot to work with for the MongolZ. He's sticking around to take the fight, and he nearly got the headshot on Jacob as well, but nice trade in the middle. Now, they are going to execute onto the B bomb site. The smokes are already inbound. There is a defensive smoke on the ramp, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to be pushing out of the cave behind Prism, so he's in a little bit of trouble here. HFA's doing the best that he can to keep it alive, and actually, they're going to disengage from it. I can't believe it. If they would have powered through, I'm so sure they would have been able to get the kill against Prism, but they just didn't want to run through that smoke. So now back we go into the A bomb side instead. It's Techno hanging around the red room looking to control the rotation while the bomb is being planted on this side. Maybe they can still win it.
This kill is going to be so important, and Techno flicks to the head of Jacob. Very low. HFA tries to just dart away, but he does have Prism there as well, who loses his head. Techno instantly takes it off, anticipating the re-peek, and now it's the low HFA left as they trade bullets, both running out of the magazines. 3 HP versus 19 as the bomb now starting to get diffused. But he has to go back in for the re-peek. He's going to be sticking on top of this one. Is Techno overthinking this? Is he over-egging the pudding? He has the full 10-second defuse. And it is going to be Apogee taking first blood in this best of 3.
There's no way, Vince. How did that happen? A 10-second defuse after you've run out of bullets, and then it comes back into that. That is a mad way to get started. I mean, in every way, that should have been the MongolZ walking away with a pistol round win here. It was lined up for them. I can't believe what I just saw.
It's just so crazy, man. And then he just decides, you know what, screw it, I'm on 3 HP, I'll roll the dice. And it came up Snake Eyes for Techno. Yeah, full 10-second defuse. It's outrageous, isn't it? But now Demo, he's going to have to try and contend with his full-on push, but Jacob with a double, making a triple, tons of damage. And although Mazinho gets 2 in return, it's a 1-on-3 and just a Tech-9 by his side.
Yeah, on its own. Do a little bit more damage, it would be nice, but obviously the round is, yeah, it's pretty much over already. Great spray, great control. You know, we weren't surprised to see them buy up in this round. They got the bomb plant. We know that that's what's going to happen in an MR12 current Counter-Strike kind of world. So no surprises there. And I guess from the side of Apogee, they're not surprised either. They were super ready for it. So well done. It's defending that early on, denying the bomb plant, which means they're going to have a little bit of a break in this next round where they can sort of, you know, take a deep breath, which... or I say that, I'm actually seeing quite a bit more investment than I was expecting here. So still some Tech-9s in play. They could just go for the ramp really early on without ever really slowing down. There's going to be a Molotov. If they had a smoke, I'd say, yeah, put it out and just run through. And that's exactly what they're going to be doing, trying to just beat them by speed alone. But the Polish team are ready. They're more than ready. They're absolutely wrecking them. A team kill at the end, which is hilarious, but still a 1 round.
I love how aggressive the MongolZ are being, though. It kind of goes back to what you were talking about, right? Like, if you want to look at this in terms of like boxing terms or MMA or whatever, FURIA are the type of team that's going to score points. They're not necessarily going to go for the knockout blow. They're just going to jab you to death. Whereas the MongolZ, they're going to just stand in the middle of the ring and say, come on then, what you got? And so far, it's been lightning fast rounds, tons of energy. And Apogee up to a 3-0 start. As you mentioned, it was a bit more of an investment, but the MongolZ still with their round loss and that plant in the first round. They've got themselves assault rifles to play with, but what can they get done with it? Smoke's already down onto middle, aggression up on the cat side as well, but the first blood once again goes the way of the Poles.
Absolutely insane protocol being thrown in here from Apogee. They controlled that front of B so well. Prism in the middle to take down Blitz. that's a round that's worth going back to study because, again, it kind of highlights the current meta. They throw the Molotovs, they flash their way in from the B bomb side, and those flashbangs are so insane when you're, because the CTs that are coming in to push are not going to get flashed, but any Ts that are out there definitely will be. They just hit like that little gap corner where you can wallbang through, and it's just such an efficient setup. A lot of teams are doing it, but weirdly, there are some teams that just haven't really caught on or don't feel like doing it. So, huge. The Polish team, you know, if you're going to cause an upset, this is how you want to get started, right? It's the map pick of the opponent. You win the pistol. You just keep on going. They're making a lot of money right now. And a big opportunity here in this round, more importantly, to maybe steal some more AKs back, which you know, that just makes your CT side so much stronger.
100%. They got 2 of them as well. Picking up the second one with Jacob just at the dying embers. And it has called the Mongols into action. A pause comes straight through. They want to try and stop the ROP before this fully gets out of control. What a great start for Apogee. They will be the massive underdogs in this game. The pressure on the Mongols. I saw the interview with Banks there and Blitz talking about an injury that he sustained, hasn't had a chance to train or really practice too much lately. So maybe this is the best time for Apogee to try and slay this weakened giant of the Mongols. Seems like it may be a bit of a tech issue instead, but yeah, phenomenal start, man. It's going to do the world of good to their confidence.
I mean, right now it's textbook. If you are gonna kill the giant, so to speak, this is definitely how you want to get started. Really, really exciting. I will say this too, as someone, you know, in recent last couple of months, I've been spending a fair bit of time, you know, covering Tier 2 Counter-Strike, and one thing that's absolutely worth paying attention to is just the fact that at that level, the mechanics alone are really scary. There are so many players down there that are monsters to be up against. Now, they lack a lot in other areas, and they're going to make mistakes in high-pressure situations and all the rest of it, and they just don't have the experience. But if you treat them, you know, pretty much like MongolZ are right now, where you say, well, we're ready to take the fights. We're going to, you know, we think we're just better mechanically. You might be in for a really nasty surprise. Like somebody like Jacob and probably Hypex as well. In my opinion, these guys are the future of Polish Counter-Strike right now, and you know, it's been a long time coming too. If you think about it, you know, the Polish scene, not to say it's been dead, but people have been playing kind of all over the place, right? And it's been a bit of a shame really to see it slow down. So I think these guys are they're real in that sense, and you got to be worried here if you're the MongolZ. You've got to have, I mean, even if it is a tech timeout, but you probably want to take a timeout anyway, just to take a deep breath and say, are we still with the right approach at this point?
Apparently we have a keyboard change, so it should be pretty quick, and hopefully the issues are fixed soon. But yeah, just to touch on the point you were discussing there about like the Polish region, obviously in the classic days we had the Virtus.pro with Snacks and Bialy and Pasha and all those legends, and then it kind of seemed to fizzle out, like you said, and we had teams like Nine, obviously Ents at one point was stacked with a bunch of Polish players as well, with like Diha and Hades that have all gone separate ways. And so maybe now it has just opened up for Apogee to get this full Polish roster moving forward. Of course, Snacks and Taz at one point were kind of going down to the Tier 2, Tier 3 grassroots level of the Polish scene, but now they're together in G2. So, yeah, I mean, it's just very interesting to see how these guys are going to adapt and potentially overcome. These are the kind of tournaments that, like, Apogee will be frothing at the mouth to take part in, you know? Like, you have a chance to make a name for yourself. And to be fair, most of the team is pretty young, but you also have players like Prism, who is 26 years old. And he's been around the Polish scene for quite some time. He's obviously their IGL. He's went to Illumina, Honoris. So not necessarily household names. Like, if you're a Polish fan, I'm sure you know of these guys. But for the rest of us, like globally, they're really not that well known. And this is a great opportunity for you to stamp yourself down on sort of the CS landscape.
Yeah, it absolutely. And, you know, they have to, you know, because of how the VRS invite system works right now, you have to grind your way through the online Tier 2 stuff, which, again, like I say, it's brutally hard to try and make your way through there. You have to give a lot of respect to any team that qualifies through that system to play in some of these lands, because it's really hard to predict down there. You just have absolutely no idea what's happening. And there, like I said, there are a lot of teams that have like a couple of good players, and if those players show up on any random day, they could just take over the whole game. And even if you might be a better team, just on that day, one of their players is hitting, you know, the flow state, and it's wild. So yeah, I think it's exciting, and it is kind of, I think for the future of Counter-Strike, there actually is just so much talent down there. Whether or not the VRS system is working perfectly, well, that's a deep discussion. But Apogee, I mean, I think it's we should give, no matter what happens here, I think they deserve a lot of respect for qualifying, and just like collecting all the points and kind of getting here. Definitely not easy to do. And I think also what it kind of means is you're sort of going to be battle tested in a way that maybe in the past you wouldn't have been, because to get here you just have to play an ungodly amount of Counter-Strike. So it's not easy.
No, not at all. And, just to kind of touch on that point a little bit more, like when you look at how many maps that these guys have been playing coming in, they have way more maps played than the Mongols. Like, these guys are properly grinding. Like, they got 20 plus games on Ancient, 15 on Nuke, 14 Mirage. Like, and this is just over the last few months, like they're really grinding this hard. So absolutely 100% agree with you. And I'd love for them to get some wins, like not go out 0-3. Great start here, obviously, but even if they can pick up a map against the Mongols, I think that's going to make a lot of people turn their heads and say, like, hold on a second, like these guys have got something about them. I
mean, just to really put a point on it, right? Apogee in the last 3 months have played 217 rounds of Ancient, and or 19 maps, I guess, and for the Mongols, it's about 11 maps, right? So it's an 8-map difference, which again is quite a bit. Not to say that means they win or anything, but it's just to try and highlight how much of a grind they happen to end up on. So. Is that turned into a tactical timeout for Apogee? That's interesting to do that right after the tech timeout. Almost feels like it could be sort of a bit of a mind game, so that if there was a bit of a hype talk coming in from the side of the Mongols, you make them doubt all of a sudden. It's like, wait a minute, why are they taking a tech timeout after the tech timeout? Should we be worried? Like, do they have some crazy plan to do something aggressive? Like, I wonder about that. That's interesting.
I wonder if it's also like you're not necessarily supposed to speak during the tech issue, so it's just
Sure.
Apogee making sure they're all on the same page. Like, the FURIA in the lead, guys. Let's not let this slip. Let's get back onto our kind of singing from the same hymn book, so to speak, and not let this slip away, because they know the Mongols are in trouble. Like, economy-wise, they're on just pistols. You've got some CZ, some Tech 9s thrown in the mix, but apart from utility, that's effectively all they've got. And Apogee, they're going to respect this. They're not playing anywhere near as aggressive. We saw Prism go super aggro out on Catwalk last time around, kind of yielded them the opening picks, and they're sitting back and just saying to the Mongols, like, listen, all the pressure's on your shoulders. You've got to make us move.
And you can also see, because of the lack of economy that you're right, Apogee definitely know about, they are ready for a potential B push, because that was what happened earlier, right? Remember, they smoked their way through the incendiary on the B ramp and just, try to rush it down. So Apogee are well aware that could be a real danger. And I kind of agree, in a sense also, it's probably one of the worst things that can happen, and it happens way too much on this map, that CT sides lose control of the B bomb site because just one person is holding the ramp, and if that person just gets wrecked by a Tech 9, the round could almost be over. Now, instead, what we're going to see is a really aggressive push here from Donut in towards the A bomb site. Jacob in a good position. Got to be careful he doesn't get flanked, but he does have Demo with him, and actually, this is just perfectly fine. Look at the spray control. He almost gets the last one as well, but just overall, you could see that mechanically he just knows exactly what he's doing.
It is a little bit concerning to me, Anders. I know it's still early days, just the 5-0, but Senzu, who is typically one of their best players, one of their entry fragments, one of the first guys in to have impact, is yet to get off the mark. 0 kills thus far. And the longer that continues, the more pressure, the more problems that is going to pose towards the Mongols. So now he's got an AK in his hands again. I think this is a very, very important round coming up.
5-0. What an interesting way to get the day started for us. Not what I was expecting. But like I said, it's nothing better than being wrong about the outcome, because how boring would it be if the Mongols showed up and just, crushed the Polish side and we're like, oh, okay, well, that was expected. Let's on to the next game. So I'm in favor of this. I'm still waiting patiently for Mongols to get back in. And again, it could be that they just need to win one round and then they're good to go. Unfortunately, for Senzu, Vince, you might have cursed him. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but he's wall-banged to death.
Oh dear. 6 ADR. Definitely wasn't intentional, Anders. So please, Mongols fans, leave me be. But yeah, Apogee getting him down early on without losing a single lick of health is an unbelievably strong outcome once again. They are unrelenting. They are savaging the Mongols, and Prism getting aggressive behind them. Oh, he could have a hat full of frags if he plays this correctly. Timing slightly off though, and Techno will punish.
Still might not be a bad position here. Demo up top, and I think he actually overcooked that one a little bit. He could have maybe just played it a bit more defensively, and he would have probably had that first kill for sure. Hypex back here, and Molotoved off for a second. They didn't keep up with the rest of the push down the B ramp, which is interesting. They're actually going to go back through CT spawn instead, so somehow we've ended up in sort of more of a normal round here. 3 versus 4. And a good chance for MongolZ to finally get their first round on board. They've got to be a little bit careful because there is a smoke and a kit on Jacob. So if they lose control of the site itself, you could have an interesting diffuse position here. Messino going to be the first guy contact. And yeah, Jacob just goes straight down. And you could make an argument for Apogee to kind of just try and stay away here. Oh, it's not even going to be possible. HFA's going to be going down and leaves Hypex 1 versus 4 to try and save the AWP, although they are coming for him. And in a big way. Nicely done. Smasino with 3 kills and finally a round for MongolZ. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to go on a bit of a string of rounds here. Sometimes you just need that beginning. You just need to start.
Oh, absolutely. They're definitely a momentum-based team, I think it's safe to say. Sometimes a very slow team to start, but once they get rolling down the hill, it's almost impossible to stop them. But we'll see if Apogee have the roadblock set up. See, we also know on the other side of the coin as well, like it's all well and good getting a 5-0 start on the CT side, but that economy becomes so tentative so quickly. They're already down to like $2,800, $2,000 on Jacob, even though it's been pretty consistently easy for them. So that's going to be in the back of their minds. Early chip damage from utility affecting 5 of the players here.
Oh.
But Techno comes in and he's going to return the favor from Senzu. Makes amends, spams down HFA, and the MongolZ have the advantage.
The wallbang potential through that part of the map is so crazy, especially because Valve just for such a long time seemed to do everything they possibly could to get rid of all wallbangs in the game. So it's really fun that it's kind of back. I do enjoy it, but also sometimes it just introduces a weird variable in some of these rounds where, you know, it's like a bit of a, yeah, you roll the dice and sometimes you get that kill and sometimes you're the one to get a bullet instead. This time, it works out for the MongolZ. So I guess, like you said, you know, a bit of justice, bit of revenge. So double setup here for Apogee towards the donut position, which means they can get really sandwiched in. Instead, I do like this. Jacob going a bit aggressive. If he stays far back and they get pushed on the other side too, then it's not a good position to be in. So I love the fact that he's trying to be a little bit aggressive in that moment. The push is still coming in though. The MongolZ want to go for it, but the bomb is making its way the other way. So this is a little bit of a fake right now. If they can stay alive, which not going to be the case for Imsidio, not going to be the case for 9-10 either. I take it all back, but you could see that there was a deeper plan here to try and get 1 kill on A, you know, force the rotation for Apogee, and then actually plant the bomb at B, which it would have been cool. It would have been a great play if it could have worked out, but that's not going to be the case here. Nicely done.
Oof. I was about to say hold the phone for a second, because Senzu did have the bomb, and it was effectively a 1v1 over on the B side. So maybe if he gets the bet that there's a bomb plant, and who knows at that point from a player of his caliber, but his woes continue, still yet to get off the mark, and I completely agree with you. It felt like they were starting to feel a little bit claustrophobic, because they tried to just open themselves up a little bit. And Jacob's aim, by the way, like you were discussing before, just how good these guys are mechanically, he is absolutely bodying the MongolZ. And the MongolZ are considered, like, pound for pound, one of the most skillful teams on the planet. Like, up there with the Vitalities, if everyone's firing on all cylinders. And so far, Apogee have been winning out on duels left and right. 11 frags to Jacob already.
This is one of the things that, again, you almost wish that MongolZ would have watched that FURIA game, and I bet they did anyway. But you know, there was a lot to learn from that if you wanted to try and follow the same line, because that's really something that they managed to shut down. And it's hard to explain what it is, but if you watch enough Counter-Strike and you watch somebody like Jacob play, you can sense it. You have a feeling when you're watching him play, like this guy just has the thing that makes you a good player. Like, he's got the aim, but there's something about his ability to take fights and, you know, how he's approaching those battles that you're sort of sold on it if you watch enough of his games. Now, again, I don't know what it means for big stages. I've never seen him play on like a big LAN, so I don't know about that. Well, this is awkward. Little kiss in the smoke. Nobody's watching. All right. Quick trade.
Oh, it ends in bloodshed. Senzu now off the mark finally, but Jacob once again 3 kills from middle. Oh, 2 headshots and a follow-up onto Techno turns this round on its head just when it looked like the MongolZ were clawing their way back in. And it leaves 9-10 with 1 kill to try and fend off a 1-on-3 with 35 seconds, but the bomb, as is being illustrated by the Observer, is locked down in middle. Surely the MongolZ can't get anything done. He may get the drop, he may get the backstab. First frag comes in, but now his position compromised, and time is just dwindling away.
Yeah, imagine what he would have to do to actually make the round work. You know, after getting that kill, he has to run back, probably get another kill, pick up the bomb. Like, it's just, there's not enough time for it. So I think reasonably, he just has to chill out and hope that the AWP is going to be staying safe. But once again, I mean, I'd love to see the replay of the round here. Jacob with 4 kills. He's 15 and 4. Quite literally trying to resurrect Polish Counter-Strike just alone, you know? Which is quite a big task, quite a big job ahead of him. But, you know, he seems to be up for it. Ooh. We're not even getting the fist bumps. We're getting the little pinky touches coming out from the MongolZ. Don't want to read too much into it, Vince, but it could mean that it's the end of the team, you know?
Yeah, we'll have another roster change before the major to add to the list.
Why not?
I guess the thing is for the MongolZ, though, like, it's got to be a very, very sort of, like, bleak situation if you lose one of these players, because there's not a ton of talent from that region, right? So, 9-10, though, punishing the aggression this time. Jacob will not continue his reign of terror, and Senzu puts the deagle to use. There is a kill in return, but the MongolZ should be able to use their player advantage as they're looking to execute onto the B side.
Yeah. Down a man here, but with the slightly better weaponry. Gonna try and see if he can blow open that smoke, and it could have been better, but the flick is not really there for it. I think he could have taken his time. He didn't have to be quite as aggressive on that one. Bomb is planted, and it's a bit interesting here. The MongolZ, the truth is, they can still have a pretty decent first half, but it has to start now. They need to start winning a couple of rounds here. Some blind shots coming through, and not connecting at all. 9-10 with the AWP on the ramp, and a good pick-off. Rushing forward, right into the deagle. Headshot leaves Hypex on his own. 1 versus 3 here. Again, we're really close, but not going to be able to get away even. So a second round. I think even if they get 4 rounds here in the first half, if you're on the Apogee side, you still have to be careful. You have to be nervous because there is absolutely a chance they can make it back. So this is one of those experience things, I think, for Apogee where, and hopefully the coach is going to be, you know, really drilling this into them. Never, ever think that you've won. Like, just keep beating up on them as much as you can because, again, we know how good the MongolZ are when they are really working. And obviously, it's been a slow start.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, also, when you look at the statistics, they have a 50% win rate on their T side. They have closer to 60% on their CT side. So the MongolZ typically do their best work on the CT side, as you'd expect, because it allows them to play aggressively. Some of those protocols that you were touching on, the Apogee were making the most out of earlier are exactly the same you'll expect the MongolZ. You know, Senzu to be getting aggressive, Mazinho to be getting aggressive as well, and taking the fight to the poles. Speaking of which, Blitz, though, getting up close into Red Room. Trying to take a bit of mid-control while the rest of his team head over to B.
Oh, but look at this. They're being intercepted, actually. This is such a sick play with the Red Room control. You're absolutely right. It's such a key part. But suddenly, the bomb is lost back here instead. And, you know, they would have planted the bomb otherwise. This would have been already a bit of an afterplant scenario. But now, instead, the madness has returned to the game. HFA and Demo going to take the fight to Blitz. Suddenly back into a 2 versus 2. And the bomb is being controlled by the CTs down here. And if he can get his teammate in to try and cover his back, it would work out. But he might be a little bit too late. Techno shows up. Slight miscommunication, I think. Demo still going to be able to get the kill, and we're back into a 1 versus 1. So either way, definitely a winnable round here. Senzu, you asked for him earlier. I think he was 0-5. Now at least he's got the first 4 kills. If he can clutch it for his team right now, I'm going to say all is forgiven, and we can be happy that he's back online. Has the health advantage for it, and Demo shouldn't be able to just get the spam down here. He wants to remain hidden and just keep the fact that he's back here a bit of a secret for now. Senzu. Nice after-plant position. I don't know. I feel like Senzu's got a big chance to win this now.
Definitely. I mean, the Molotov is the only potential saving grace for Demo, but he doesn't want to give his position away either, so he slowly walks into the crosshair. And as we said, all is forgiven in Senzu. You were 0-6 at one stage, 0-7, but he's bounced back with authority, and we know he's always got that extra gear or 2 to shift through. So the MongolZ are slowly making this a more respectable half. Apogee can be disappointed, but even within the confines and context of that round, Anders, like, realistically, that should have been pretty straightforward for the MongolZ. To go down into a 1v1 to start off with is kind of ludicrous. So they're definitely not playing their A game. Take nothing away from Apogee. They're playing so well. But it feels like the MongolZ, they do have that little extra lift and level to move into, and this might be where we see it come into play. It is a full eco from Apogee, stacking over on A, rushing through. Mazinho with the bomb, though, has dropped it down. He's going to get sideswiped. Goes down. They have control over the bomb for a few moments, but the Senzu is there to try and pick up the pieces and put this one back into control.
Yeah, man, imagine if they had actually picked up one of those AKs. I think that's where the round could be in real jeopardy. But Good job. You mentioned it earlier, the specter of the economy, you know, going away for Apogee, and finally that actually happened. So the Mongols get a chance to say, all right, that's it. We've a bit of an easier round. I actually think they're going to be so much more locked in right now. I think they are. You can even tell individually they're starting to get the kills. No one's lacking behind anymore on the T side. So again, for Apogee, this is one of those experience things. You have to be so careful because there's a very good shot that the Mongols are just going to be very, very fired up right now. And I love the fact that they're taking a timeout. I think this is a really good idea, even if it's into the 12th round, which means obviously sometimes when you take timeouts, it's not necessarily to talk about the next round. Sometimes you try and take a timeout to say, hey, listen, 2 or 3 rounds from now, we're going to do something differently. So that it's sort of hidden by the fact that there are more rounds to play. You do it now, obviously we know that you're going to be talking about the next round. But still, I think it's a good idea for Apogee just to try and see if you can get this one last round on the board so that the Mongols don't come into the second half feeling really great.
Yeah, I think it also goes to show you just how Apogee realize the situation that they're in. Like, they're actually still in a solid spot. Yes, the momentum is maybe slightly edging more in the Mongols' favor here, but they know an 8-4 half. You win that second pistol, like suddenly things are starting to look really good for you on Ancient, a map that typically the Mongols are good on, and they have picked up the first kill. Lots of damage through the smoke as well to Senzu. He has to tread lightly, considering that 3 of the 4 players are sat out here on the double doors. Apogee have done a really solid job of just holding back the onslaught and taking control of the map in the process. The only area they don't have is middle, but they have Hypex watching Red Room with the AWP. They're feeling very comfortable right about now.
I hate everything about the fact that Techno is on that side of the smoke with his team on the other side by the door, because you could see that he had no idea where to look. So if you're going to go through that smoke and, like, you know, do it all at once, or don't do it at all and just respect the smoke. But Techno very much on an island there with nobody to help him out. Smart play from Apogee, though. I like the aggression pushing down, and they have the whole map covered. You're absolutely right. There's not a lot of ways to break through. You need an entry kill at the moment. Can't really get easily, I think, the wall bang at the moment. 40 seconds left in this round, and you can actually see that I think even 9-10 he's looking to see if anyone's walking through CT spawn. They have so little map control, they have no idea where the rest of Apogee could be. 30 seconds left here, Vince. This is going to be a B execute, but look at already Apogee. They're rotating in. They're ready.
This is typically where Senzu does his best work, but he does have Mazinho to finish off the weakened Haffa. And now 20 seconds, time of the essence. They're going to be forcing the plant down after the smokes have now started to put into position and funnel away the poles. But when those smokes start to come down, there's only going to be a HE to play with. A lack of kits as well alongside Apogee, and they have some decent crossfires now established for the Mongols. 9-10 going to get aggressive, trying to line them up, sprays them down, gets 2, and nearly a third as well, but Jacob able to stand his ground. The problem is the player advantage now has dwindled away, but Jacob on point once again, and Demo brute forces his way onto the site. Apogee will have an 8-4 half.
That is such a tough retake. The fact that 9-10 pushed into them just as they were setting up one arm of that retake, it's a sick play, and it's actually what equalizes, like you said, the player disadvantage there. So really well played for 9-10, but ultimately it just wasn't enough. Even without the fuse kit, it's going to be another round for the Polish side, and I think that's really, really important. Again, they are, by quite a large margin, they are the underdog team here, so getting the last round in, really important. I'm going to say, I think this is nowhere near done. There's an 8-4 first half here. There's every chance that the Mongols are going to bounce right back. But the pistol round, for once, actually, is going to be incredibly important here, Vince. So we'll see what happens when the Mongols get to the CT side, because if they win that pistol, I think they're going to be back in the game.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. No doubt at all. I think they also have some great pistolers. Like, one thing about Mazinho that people often don't talk about is, like, he's a headshot machine, but he's also very good in pistol rounds. You can see him there chewing on his nails, a bit of anxiety maybe creeping in, but definitely a player that can set the scoreboard alight when he has those USPs in his hands. So let's see. We've built this one up, Anders, but what will the outcome be? Because the Mongols will know if Apogee pick up this second pistol, they are in command. They are in the driver's seat, they're cruising down the highway, and they're pulling away from the Mongols. And it's not even as if the Mongols have been able to bully Apogee. It's not been necessarily like super high-level strategical play that Apogee have just been besting them with. It's been dueling. Jacob has had a stellar half. He's been on point, man, the entire time.
And I think you're loving that. If you're Apogee, you're so happy that they're allowing you to play that kind of Counter-Strike. And we'll see what happens now. We're already going to go. It's going to be fast and hard towards the B bomb site. No breaks on this one. Techno with the dualies, but there's so many clocks coming at him, and he can't get the kill. Only the one on Jacob, and that is not enough. They get wiped out in spite of the fact that they had 3 people on the B bomb site. 9, 10, and Messino left. And it's a 2 versus 4 here in the afterplant. And yeah, if you get a couple of straight headshots right now, you can have that conversation about maybe going for the retake. There's the one. You probably need at least one more to get close to it here. And Messino, let's see if he can live up to it. It's going to be 9-10 on the other side. It's another absolutely clean headshot, cutting down Prism. And they have an idea. They know the demo's down here. They're getting very close, just trying to run. Point blank range, pistol up close, and it's going to be Demo going down. Hypex on the other side. He's got the health, and even hits the wallbang here, but it doesn't matter. Messino gets the shot. If he had the kit, maybe there would have been a way, but without it, it is definitely not going to be happening. Apogee will end up picking up the pistol, and that's huge news. If they're going to cause the upset, if they're going to steal away the map pick here, then this is how it's done.
Such a valiant attempt. 9-10 on 4 HP, bagging himself too. And we saw that crisp aim with the USP from Messino, but as he said, lack of kit, time was always going to be working against him. Hypex was almost baited back into that one because he did hear the tag through the wooden panels onto Messino. And although it was lightning quick, it just wasn't enough. The Mongols deciding not to fully invest into this round. They're playing for the bigger picture, effectively giving across 10 rounds to Apogee. The only way this gets close, the only way this gets a little bit nerve-wracking for the Poles is if they do push onto the stacked A site, but it looks as though the Mongols, they're going to go looking for information, and there's 2 players out here waiting, licking their lips. Prism's one of them. However, moving forward here, opens his angle of a defense quite considerably, but he just sprays them all down alongside Demo and Hypex. And it's not worked out for the Mongols. No kills, a 10th round already to the T's. Things are looking dire.
What a shocking result, 10-4, and some good early signs. Just if you're wondering, how much we don't talk about how much they played Ancient in the last 3 months, but you can also see they understand so much of the meta. On the CT side, they had that great outside of B control with all the grenades. On this T side already, you can see they throw the early Molotovs to try and stop any kind of a run boost from getting from mid onto the B lane to help out the cave. So they're actively stopping the Mongols from trying to run up there. And those are just the little details. Now it's going to be fast again. They know that there's not going to be that many grenades in this round for the Mongols because they don't have the money for it. So why not rush when they don't have the incendiaries or whatever else it is to try and slow them down? And it's worked. It's worked beyond belief. Absolutely wrecking the Mongols here. Blitz on his own. Has no idea what's happening.
I'll tell you what, Hans, when I woke up this morning, I did not have Apogee bodying the Mongols on Ancient on my bingo card. I thought if it was going to be 11-4 score, it would be the Mongols all day, every day, especially on this map. This is wild. Could you imagine a world where the Mongols go down into the 0-2 bracket and you have, like, Liquid down there? You have Falcons down. Like, this entire tournament just flips on its head. What is happening?
You mentioned a string of names there, Vince. You said the Mongols, Liquid, Falcons. One of those I could imagine.
Yeah, right.
One of them I'm not surprised by, but for the Mongols I definitely would be surprised. Like that would be shocking news. Who knows what the Falcons are doing these days? But they're so familiar. This is obviously bad because we're meant to be professionals and everything else. But when I looked at that game and saw the scoreline for Falcons versus GamerLegion, I just laughed. It was my immediate reaction was just laughing because somehow that is funny to me. But anyway, back into this one. I mean, we're getting there. It's not done yet, and the Mongols, they've got a little bit more to buy with. Here into the middle we go, and it's a huge battle with Blitz coming out on top. 2 big kills. Right at the edge of the smoke. Apogee, I still kind of like the idea of trying to play this aggressively because you've got them almost killed. They're on the ground bleeding. I know you say you're not supposed to kick a man when you're down, but in Counter-Strike you definitely do that. Just definitely. It's bad advice. I think that was made up by somebody who was on the ground. Like a philosopher getting stomped on. And they're like, oh, don't kick a man when you're down, Vince. You should. It's 2 versus 4 right now. And we've got about a minute on the clock. Unfortunately for them, the bomb is lost in the middle somewhere. I doubt if they're going to be able to retrieve it. 50 seconds, though. And I like the fact that they're walking, taking a long way around. hoping to see if they can catch up. It's got about 40 seconds now. The Mongols, this is a round. If they lose this one, I'd say we're probably looking at a wider systemic kind of issue for them. Well, see, we might have lost Vince in the meantime. At a funny timing, no question. 9-10 showing up. It's going to be a nice headshot. And Senzu on the other side. All right, 3 people alive for the Mongols. I know it's not a lot to celebrate, but given where we are at the current state of the game, obviously the, you know, not just winning the rounds, but keeping the economy strong. Like, it's all the fundamentals that we need for this to work out. So we'll see. Timeout being called for Apogee here. And we'll see what happens once we get Vince back online and
hello.
Yeah, get back into it. Oh, do we have him?
Apologies. Had a quick tech issue I need to fix. But
well,
we are back.
It happens. Was it at least an exciting one, Vince?
Unfortunately not. No.
Oh.
I wish I could say, like, you know, an elephant broke into the room or something. I don't know why I thought of elephant first, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, you live in England. I don't think...
There's not many elephants around.
I was thinking like maybe a, you know, drone or something, you know, a drone flying through the window, crashing into the router or something, you know.
That would be more likely. Yeah, definitely more likely. But so the Mongols won the last round, huh?
They did, in fact. Yeah, they are. They're trying to keep the dream alive. They have 3 people alive as well, and they get to pick up a couple of AKs. 3 of them in total. For once, they have a little bit more of utility, but again, there's nobody watching the B ramp, which is my favorite thing to hate on, and this is the reason why you're giving the T side so much space to just run in there, get the bomb planted. Somebody has to be watching this. Blitz is going to be going down. It's Jacob back. He's an absolute menace, just running along with his AK and cracking heads along the way. It's Massinio and Techno now in a 2 versus 4 after plant.
Have that first pull of contact though, and he does remove the head of Ipex. Lots of damage to Demo, nearly finishes him off through the panels of the pillar. It's hard to see how Techno can get himself back activated into this round. He's low, they know exactly where he is. And at this stage, is holding on to an M4A1S a little bit more of a smarter decision here. I don't know if he'll be afforded that luxury. He's already getting flanked in from Jacob, who's now managed to land over 20 kills. 21 frags to his name, 16 for Prism. And Techno is living on borrowed time. Oh, he's getting the element of surprise at least. Maybe trade up to the AK, but Demo will deny him. And Apogee now with 7 map points. Unbelievable.
How did we get here? Just yeah, a great start, obviously winning the pistol in the first half and going on a massive run before the Mongols started to get woken up. But there just isn't the energy in the room right now. And again, I really, it's my favorite thing to hate on. It's been a couple of months now where all I've been saying really is someone has to hold on to that B ramp when you're on the CT side. And you could see, just to contrast, to give some credit to Apogee, a lot of the times when they were on the CT side, they had that early 3-man setup at B because they wanted to stop the Mongols from being able to rush in there. But a lot of teams, in my opinion, are failing that very test at the moment. And instead, I mean, it's so dangerous. 1 kill and you're on the B bomb side. Now, this is a little bit better. Blitz and Techno trying to bring it back. They're going to find Hypex as well. 9-10 nearly gets away with the ult.
Nearly, but not quite. However, it's looking good for them to retrieve that momentarily, but Demo with the spray, getting the upper hand to Massinio and maintains most of his HP. There is a way forward here, considering that's the bomb carrier as well, and he already has Prism that's carved a path through on A and is wrapping around the back of CT spawn. There's a way forward here for the Mongols to concede this round, and Apogee to somehow once again pull out the winning formula. The drop from Prism is perfectly timed. Senzu is sent packing, and with that Molotov, it could buy them up enough time to go for that bomb plant, but they are a little bit concerned about the donut side, hence the nade tossed in. Bomb now getting planted. 2v2 retake coming in. Tons of damage to Demo, but he's still alive with 23.
If they steal it away like this, embarrassing for the Mongols. They had this round in the bag. They had the man advantage and everything else, but Prism, what a shot from the other side. Blitz going to go down. He walked right into it, and Techno, he might get the same treatment. He's going to be quick to get that kill, but Where's the diffuse kit? I don't know if there even is one. Smoke is going to go up at 10 seconds. How are you going to try and do that? He taps it once, goes straight for the shot, and will take down Demo. And you can see he's very frustrated, Demo, on the other side. He wanted to try and play that a little bit safer. It's going to be absolutely down to the wire. Techno trying to find the last second, and he barely will. Techno on the defuse with 0.07 left. That was so close, but they get to stay alive here. MongolZ now fighting for overtime.
6 more rounds required, and you can see by the reactions, there's no hype. They know the task is not even nearly done here. Best case is OT, as you highlighted, and some really good frags from Techno again, one of the few players that's really come alive here. And although there's disappointment, you can see what it means to Apogee to get across the line here and take this first map. They are going to have to dip down into a half-by eco. Got the Hero AK for Prism, you've got a couple of Tech 9s and P250s thrown in the mix as well. It's not as if the MongolZ economy is great either. Like, honestly, if they can, even if they lose this round on us, but they pick up like 3 kills, that could be good enough. Because the MongolZ have not stabilized here. They're still struggling. You've got an MP9 in play, lack of grenades across the board.
Well, to make it worse, they've got 2 people without helmets. So if they run into some of these Tech 9s or Glocks even, you never know what could happen. Smassinio close to the corner with the MP9 in hand. He should have a bit of an advantage, but it's the AK coming in first, and still, good shot to start with, and just an excellent spray down. Smassinio making sure that they're not going to give up this round. It's Hypex looking to save it. It's a 1 versus 4 for him, so take a deep breath right now, MongolZ. He still has to plant the bomb. You should have every opportunity to get this job done. It's a nice position, and who knows, maybe he could have landed that headshot against 9-10 at range. We got 50 seconds, and actually, if he can walk away from this, that might be the better choice. That's going to give him that element of surprise. I can't bear to think if they lose this in a 1 versus 4. That would be way too brutal. He's going to make noise too soon. Oh no, he faked it. He might be a genius. He might secretly be a genius, Vince.
Oh, he knows the chances of a player being in donut are high. So he knows that sound cue has been heard, and it has now successfully separated the pack. 2 become 1. 2 effective separate 1v1s coming to fruition here. Hypex has played this perfectly. If he gets the drop on Techno, it could be curtains. Smoke down is afforded now to go for that bomb plant, but Techno perfectly pierces the smoke. Great attempt from Hypex, though, and he does get those 3 kills I was talking about. So, yeah, sure, MongolZ, you've won another round. You have 5 more to go. But you're still not in a position where you're feeling too healthy, and they know that Apogee are going to have a full-on investment coming up in this round as well.
That is such a smart play. You can easily see that all he needed was a little bit of timing. If he gets that fight towards Donut, you're absolutely right. He definitely knew he might have had an opportunity there. How sick would that have been? Anyway, we're down to 5 more rounds for MongolZ to get this one into overtime. Early grenades coming in here, and 9-10, keeping a close eye on the ramp. It's in the middle, though. More pressure and some bullets connecting with Blitz through the smoke in the middle there. We're not seeing too much aggression really out of the MongolZ. They're not trying to claim that B lane for themselves. You could see Techno is here keeping an eye on the Cheetah Cave, but he's not looking to really aggressively push into the middle. I don't hate this setup. It means A bomb site is a bit undefended, but it's pretty normal for the map, to be honest.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff, especially when you have a few players on low smokes or utility. You have an MP9 in play. Sometimes you have to gamble a little bit more on that side of the map, on the B side. It's so easy to get that plant down. It's such a difficult site to retake as well. So the MongolZ hedging their bets over on here, and so far they haven't really budged too much. Blitz on low HP does check middle with his AK and finds nothing. No information to really come off and go for a rotation with. But now the smoke's starting to drop onto the B side. This is going to isolate the CT, so they want to press forward and take the fight, but they want to back off. And it seems like backing off is the option. A lot of damage inflicted to Techno, though, as they throw in their counter utility. But it's still 30 seconds to play with. And Apogee, they can pull the plug and go back through middle. They could even hit A here.
Yeah, it's a really smart choice because there was, like you said, there was another smoke even going down. So I think running through 2 smokes onto the B-bomb side is probably a bit crazy. So back they go. Smassinio is here. If he gets the right couple of kills, he might be able to save the round on his own. And a double spray down it is. Jacob does defuse the situation, and the bomb is going to be planted swiftly afterwards. This is still very winnable. Look at the MongolZ. A couple of them here, low on health. They're going to catch Jacob, though. And it's down to another 2 versus 4, heavily in favor of the Mongols. See if they could get another retake in. It's looking very good at the moment. Hypex isolated towards that donut position, and you can see the panic is started to set in. Senzu will hunt him down, and the Mongols to pick up the round. Another one on the board. They need 4 more. It's scary. It's close all the time. Like, they're not getting a lot of chances to celebrate and to just be happy about this game. It's a struggle every single second.
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Like, they are fighting for every single kill, every scrap, every inch of this map right now. Apogee with some great calls, some heads-up plays, and like you mentioned, like, if Mazzino doesn't get both of those frags, if he goes down without a fight, I mean, this map is basically done. That's 2 heroic kills that he's picked up for his team, allowing them to come back in. When you consider all 3 of the remaining MongolZ players were very low, I think 2 of them were below 15 HP, that could have been a nightmare. But it's still not done just yet. It's a half buy, but there's a ton of utility, and they're picking up the pace.
Yeah, they are. They want to go straight for that A execute. They're hoping that there's going to be one person here, and they're wrong about that either. Massinio, he is so lucky to be alive. If he dies, it's straight into a bomb plant here. But I say luck, Prism comes into it. I don't know how that happened, but he got 2 kills. Coming through the middle, he defeated the entire CT defense in there on his own with just a Tech 9. That should never be happening. And that might be what wins them the map, to be honest. Senzu and 9-10. How do you even dream of getting back into this round? The AK player is already low on health. You do have at least a couple of grenades, and 9-10. That is a critical shot. We need 1 more of those, and then we can start to have the conversation. But Jacob says absolutely not. Deagle for the 1, headshot for the 2nd, and Apogee. A shocking victory on the opening map here, taking down the monsters in MongolZ. I actually can't believe what I'm seeing.
That is such a good win. It's like the MongolZ didn't play great. I think it's safe to say, like, Senzu was very slow to get off the mark.
And you guys have seen him, you know, first-hand experience. Let's get Hypex online, because he's also a really, really fun player and pretty talented. So hopefully we get to see more stuff. But I mean, more than anything, we need the MongolZ to really come online here. And like I said, they have not been playing a lot of Nuke in the last 3 months. So that's just interesting to think about. This is not a well-drilled map for them, but no more talk. We're into the action. It's going to be Apogee starting on the T side, the MongolZ on that CT side. To begin with, they don't have any real utilities, so no smokes, no kits, no nothing. They're looking to win right off the bat with just getting the kills and not much else. And look at this 2-man drop, making their way towards heaven and hell, and they're just not going to be slowing down. They might even catch him. I don't even think he had the gun out. I think he was just running with a knife there. It's 9-10 now being absolutely butchered here. Oh, but the backup is there. Senzu to save his teammate. Otherwise, I think he might have got shot through the grating there, and it's going to be down to 2 versus 4. The bomb is down here with them, but they are locked in at the moment.
They have taken down Blitz, though. And now from the double doors, they can start to rummage their way around into the vents. Now, because how rapid the opener of this round was, there's still over a minute left on the clock. And the MongolZ, they've been rotating so many times, they'll be dizzy. But Demo is going to put Techno out of his misery. Bullet to the dome. 2v2 from a 2v4. Both players healthy. And although 9-10 has made a move down on the B side, because there's still so much time left, he can't assume anything. The MongolZ are still so clueless as to where Apogee currently reside with that bomb.
Well, like you said, the fact that there's so much time left means that they are going to be a little bit worried. Not a good position for Techno to take that fight, because his shadow was showing, which is why it was so easy to get that Glock kill. I do like this, though. 9-10, but he's still going to be going down. A 2 versus 4. Now, the other way into a 1 versus 2. It's Senzu having to try and save the day for his team. He's going to open the door, and that reveals his position. Hypex, just wait for your teammates. He's on the other side. Wide swing! And Hypex will take him down. Senzu could not clutch it. And a huge return for Apogee. They should have not been winning this round. They should have been losing very early on. You could even see the coach in the background. Oh, the faces tell it all, Vince. It's horrible.
Man, this 3-kill streak that the MongolZ went on, shutting down outside, should have just been the round over. It was a 2v4. All 4 players from the MongolZ are healthy, and they just get divided and surgically removed from Apogee. That is not something you often see from the MongolZ. They're typically a team that will hoard you when they have the player advantage. They don't let those advantages slip very often. That is absurd that they've lost that round, and now they have to deal with a straight-up Hack 10 rush, and Haffa spraying down 2 players by himself. Well, this round's already done.
Great flashbangs, the speed behind those Mac 10s, and It's abusing the same kind of logic that they really were on Ancient. When they knew on Ancient that the Mongols on the CT side weren't going to have a lot of utility, they went for some really fast plays. Because obviously, one of the ways to stop a rush if you're on the CT side, logically, is to throw a lot of grenades early on, incendiaries and HEs to try and stop any kind of hot play if you're on Nuke. And they know that the Mongols aren't going to be able to have that in this kind of a second round. So they just run straight for it. No fear at all about any kind of stacks or anything. Very well done here. Wow, I'm kind of blown away.
Now, we were talking in the pre-game sort of segment before we kind of kicked off into this game about how Polish CS has been on a bit of a downturn. You know, it's a far cry from the days of the VP Classic days, the Virtus.pro.
Yeah.
But here we have Apogee, and they're really making a case for themselves. I don't want to get carried away and go too crazy, because obviously it's off the basis of just this one game, but man, they are making the Mongols look like a very, very ordinary team. This is the same team that was the first ever Asian team to reach the playoffs of a major not that long ago. And they are straight up being body bagged right now by Apogee.
I mean, they're such a well-respected team. There's no question about it. I mean, they're like 4th in the Val ranking at the moment. Everybody knows what these guys are about. So shocking to see them, like you said, look very average, very human. Like normally, part of the threat of playing these guys is the insane, time to kill that they have. It's so hard to turn the corner against some of these players on a regular day. The Polish team have made them look way worse than that. A bomb site under the control here of Apogee. And I guess not too exciting for this round. I mean, not to expect anything really here. It's just a little investment into this round for the Mongols. Hoping to do something. Going to find a kill there, but I doubt they're going to be able to save any of these rifles. Unfortunate team kill. Okay, maybe actually. At least a MAC-10. You don't want to be saving that, really. I was hoping that they could find an AK somewhere, because that obviously would be the real fun part. Round is going to be absolutely fine with the AKs. Both Hypex and Jacob are there. So nothing is saved on the Mongol side, but they do a bit of damage, and maybe that's a starting point to have a bit of a conversation to get back into it mentally.
Yeah, at least going to build the confidence just a little bit. But I mean, I'm no body language expert, Anders, but every time it pans to the Mongols, they just look so dejected. You know, we were talking before about how they were getting some wins, no one was celebrating. Yeah, it's a rough day at the office right now, isn't it? Like, you're already down in the 0-1 bracket. You're against Apogee. You're probably thinking, okay, boys, here we go. Let's get a pretty straightforward game. Let's get this win under our belt. And then you just run into this juggernaut of Apogee. Now, they've got the first pick in this round onto Prism. That's a pretty decent pick, but look at the aggression once again. Just ruthless, straight out into the site, and they've got themselves entries aplenty.
Oh, the smoke not quite going up. That is a bit of a miscommunication here, and it might be enough. Messino on the one side, 9-10 would have been running through on the other side no matter what, so I think they were going to be fine. But, man, that's a round that pretty much the whole round, right up until the last 5 seconds, Apogee is winning that round. It's only right at the end that it breaks down. And like you said, it's the sheer speed and aggression. If you're that mini player, you get that first kill and you think, okay, that's pretty good, but then the drop down is there and it just doesn't stop. They are so aggressive here, running through the incendiary as well. I love everything about this push, but unfortunately, they just couldn't quite get that smoke up in time.
Yeah, the other great thing about that push is even though it doesn't yield success in terms of a round, it conditions the Mongols to think, well, hold on a second, are they going to rush again? It's always going to be in the back of their mind. This means they're going to have to expend more utility early in the round, smoking the door, Molotoving hut as fast as they possibly can. Good frag from Techno, stands his ground with the MP9. But it's all about conditioning. This is still very early on in the half, and this is going to add up. How does he get Molotov there on the back of site?
It must have been burning from earlier. There's no way, Vince. He must have been running into it from earlier. That's the only explanation. So they must have thrown that from the T-roof, way earlier, because there was no push coming in. I'm actually blown away. We're going to have to see a replay of that. He must have just strafed back into it, not realizing somehow. That's a crazy way to die. And now Jacob is ready to capitalize as well. Takes down 9-10. If they lose the round on the back of this, one, they're going to lose the economy. But also, what a shocking way to potentially lose a bit of an advantage there. 40 seconds. Messino and the Blitz. It's a nice drop down, but it does make a bit of noise. I don't know if anyone could have been nearby hearing it, but 30 seconds. And they're going to make their minds up to go for the B bomb side instead. From our point of view, it looks like that's a really good choice.
Yeah, they lose the economy, they lose their AKs, they lose their confidence, the momentum, everything. A 4-1 potential lead hanging by a thread. Blitz needs to go huge, and he does just that. And it's clean. 2 clean, crisp kills. And although the bomb plant will be forthcoming, Mazzino's position now could be that nut spot that he can just shut it down and lay it bare. That's all on Blitz, though. Those 2 kills he picks up are worth the round. But the Mongols, again, they get a round win against the odds after having a pretty solid advantage. When Techno gets the shutdown onto Prism through the smoke with the MP9, you think, okay, this is where everything just kind of falls into place. Then the Molotov kill comes in. Then we see this crazy entry from Jacob on 9-10, just a wide swing, 1-tap with the AK, and everything comes crumbling down.
I mean, this is not boring Counter-Strike to begin with, ladies and gentlemen. At least we're being treated as something really wild here. Timeout being called now for Apogee. I think it's probably a good idea to, you know, take a deep breath here. You've put on a lot of pressure, but also you've ended up expending a lot of money. I guess you're also keeping the MongolZ economy quite low on the other side of things. So a lot is being accomplished, but it's a big conversation. How much more pressure do you want? Like, do you want to make this another Tech 9 kind of round and try and keep it up? I'm so curious if we're going to see this. So Techno, he gets this kill. And yeah, so the Molotov's already there, and he's jumping to dodge the bullets from the wallbang, because he was being wallbanged from HUD. So I'm assuming he's trying to dodge that, and he's just flying right into the fire.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, that was literally the last tick of damage in the Molotov. It evaporated the second he died. And the thing is, players will have this inner sort of clock in their brain. They'll know Molotov's down, they'll know roughly how long that Molotov lasts for, and they'll feel confident enough to back away. They obviously want to keep their eyes onto where the danger is coming from. So that's very unfortunate for Techno. Literally, the second he died, the Molotov disappears. Very, very unlucky.
Very fast HEs to blow open the smoke out there, sort of almost on top of each other. Kind of interesting to see. But you know what? Apogee actually got quite far in this one. Oh, Demo, I'd love to see him refight that. If he gets Senzu, they're probably going to get the bomb planted. But now backup is going to be there. Senzu, that's not what you want to see. Caught jumping up. Nice shot from 9-10, but still does pave the way for a potential bomb plant. I don't think anyone's nearby to be able to stop it, so the MongolZ still favorites to win this round. You look at the weapons on the other side, but you've got to coordinate that. I don't know why 9-10 is running in on his own like that. I couldn't actually explain it to you, Vince.
Do we have a doctor in the house? Because we need the Heimlich maneuver like applied right now. Like this is kind of crazy. Some of these rounds they're losing and getting close in. However, here we go. This is where the Mongols' skill is going to shine bright. Howard, though, oh my god! 2 1-taps with a Tech 9, are you serious? And he gets a third as well! Apogee steal this round away and secure the 4-2 lead out of nowhere!
Yeah, you wanted a doctor, but this is the kind that puts people to sleep. And he was here to put them down instead. Give him that lethal injection. I don't know what's happening. 9-10. Why on earth is he running into it? But then you could say, well, he's all good, you know. Even that was a bit of a mistake, but the rest of the team brought it back, and it's a 1 versus 3 versus a Tech 9. And then he just straight ups and deletes them. Just removes them, snaps them out of existence. I'm shocked.
Like, if you're the Mongols, like, what can you even say? Like, unlucky lads, we completely shot the bed again for like the 4th time in a row. That's crazy. They even got 3 kills back to back to get themselves back in, and then halfway with the Tech 9, just tap, over, done.
Yeah, it's even on the replay. What do you say? Hey, guys, at least we found rock bottom. You know, we can build from here. So,
the only way's up, boys. It doesn't get any worse than this.
I
guess you
like
could say, at least we're not Falcons, right? Yeah.
True. Yes, that's exactly right. At least we didn't spend, you know, $350,000 a month on this. I am just making up numbers, but it does make me laugh, okay? It's for my own benefit. Prism trying to get the jump down here. I love the idea for Blitz to try and jump up on that CT roof there. I think it's a bit underutilized. In fact, I'll go even crazier, Vince. I'm pretty sure that you can make a plan where you run boost Ts from the mini roof onto that CT roof on top of garage. I think you can do it and have it be like a competitive advantage. So I'm gonna try and convince people. Not that my success rate at convincing pros to do anything is really high, but I've got plans.
Okay, I see you. I mean, you're out there grinding with the grenade videos and stuff, Anders. I see you out there on YouTube and on Twitch.
Yeah, you know, it's my pastime, you know, where I spend an insane amount of time and absolutely nobody cares, but I still think it's fun, you know. Like I said, it's for my own sake, you know, it makes me happy, it makes me smile. I don't read books, Vince, you know. It's not my kind of thing. Yeah, I watch TikTok and throw grenades. That's what I do.
That's the kind of education I want, Anders.
Exactly. 8 rounds into it now. We're starting on the 8th round. And the Mongols are at least back with some rifles. It's not every rifle that you would want. Obviously missing the AWP and missing more, maybe significantly, a lot of the utility. But I do like this double setup down towards the hallways. Jacob on the other side, he's already been tackled a little bit. MP9 maybe could have won the fight there, but the straight headshot's going to make that difficult. Masinio, he'll get the one, and he is swiftly told to back out.
They have the advantage, but we have seen this a few times before, and we know how that's ended up. They've got to get their hands around the neck of Apogee and put them down for good this time. They have every opportunity to do so. 9-10 extends the player advantage to a 2-on-4. Hypex also low. They do have time. They don't have control over the bomb just yet. So surely, I mean, we've been here before. I feel like I'm maybe jinxing this a little bit. But this has to be around the Mongols sweep aside and pick up with 4 players left. They've got to build that economy up, get their hands on some of these AKs, but Hypex, he takes down 9-10 and gives himself a chance.
Yeah, he's no joke, is he? Bomb is kind of in an awkward position here, so I think in terms of winning the round, it really, I agree, it should never be happening, but just doing a little bit more damage. I think Apogee maybe got suckered a little bit into this round where they, you know, they end up just standing outside and doing a lot of aim fights, and maybe normally I'd want to criticize that, but the problem is Apogee have been winning so many aim battles against the Mongols that they probably do feel like it's doable. Oh my god. They managed to just walk almost right past each other. Hypex, he's going to fake it once, trying to buy himself maybe one more kill if he could, but now he has to go for it. He can't delay any further. Techno trying to climb up through the fire. Got to be careful here. Again, low health. I think he faked the audio of running into Hut just to hope that they weren't going to be showing up. He knows that they're there. It's one more headshot down to the 1 versus 1, and he swings and catches Techno. It's unbelievable.
Oh, God. It's a really good clutch, and it's so well played, but there's 2 sides to every story, right? Like, I think the coach's expression says everything for the Mongols. Like, how have we let this happen again? They've lost a 2v4. They've lost, like, a 2v3. That's a 1v3. Oh.
Listen, Vince, forget the doctor. Just send the coroner already. Like,
Yeah.
It's too late.
Oh. They're getting away with murder as well, Anders. You might as well send a detective as well while you're at it, because, like, Apogee, they're getting away with so much. This is ridiculous.
There's no way any of this stuff should be happening. This is the kind of stuff where you've got to be really concerned, right? Because on some fundamental level, right? Never mind the caliber of players or the individual aim or anything else. I mean, for Hypex, it's absolutely sick. And, you know, I did say, you know, he's a better player than he showed even on Ancient. And I guess that, you know, it's a good display of that in this round. But none of that really matters. This is not about Hypex in a sense. I mean, it is from his own point of view. But Mongols, they should never, ever be losing a round like this. In modern Counter-Strike, it doesn't really happen much anymore because everybody knows how to play very disciplined. You understand what it means. You know that as long as you trade the kills, he's never going to be able to get even close to winning a round like this one. And they fail on every single level there. What a shocking situation. Hypex is 11-3, and Mongols are getting violated on this map.
I mean, Apogee are playing so well. You know, it's easy to kind of like meme on the Mongols and everything, but take nothing away from Apogee. These guys are playing, honestly, some really good Counter-Strike. It's the fact that the Mongols, who are typically so on point with crossing their eyes, or dotting their eyes, I should say, and crossing their T's, maybe that's the problem they're struggling with right now. They've got it back to front. But they're normally so good at this kind of, you know, seeing out rounds where they have the advantage, clawing their way back into the clutches. Blitz has spotted the head of Haffa, the CZ's going to let him down. He does a lot of damage, but not the kill. And now that allows Haffa to go back in and pick up a second kill. That epitomizes the Mongols in a passage of play. Had the chance, miss out, lose 2 players as a result, and all of this is a ruse. It's all smoke and mirrors because Apogee are hitting the B site again.
Yeah, they're going to say, fine, if you want that AK, if you're going to be out there, who cares? You know, we're going to get the round. Make it a 7-2 scoreline, and yeah, fine, they get the AK. It's not a lot to celebrate at the moment here. This is quite a surprise. We talked about it a little bit off camera in the break, Vince. So, you know, I think both of us showed up to this game thinking probably, you know, it's going to be a fairly quick 2-0, and then we'll, you know, move into the next match, and we'll see what happens there. Like that could be more interesting, right? Like it's FaZe and Pain coming up on the B stream, I believe. So, so you know, like that, you know, maybe this first one just has to go, you know, a bit predictable. That's not been the case at all. Scary stuff, to be honest. Apogee, though, like I said, hard grind to qualify for big tournaments right now. It just is. So when you get there, I think that's the upside. You know, it can be hard all those days playing online Counter-Strike. Some of them you see, you know, they're playing like 4 or 5 best of 3s in a day. It never really stops. You know, there is no practice. All the practice is, you know, online qualification and trying to get the VRS points scraped together. But it really does also just mean you're just battle hardened when you get there. Like nothing can shake you. So Apogee is pretty it's pretty sick.
I think it's a really good way of putting it as well in terms of a narrative. Is like for Apogee, they don't know how many more opportunities like this they'll get.
Oh yeah.
Like the MongolZ have been at tons of tier 1 events. They're constantly going to be invited because they're still a damn good team. But for Apogee, like you don't know when your next opportunity is going to be around the corner. So when you get these, you've got to make the most of them. There is no excuse for just showing up and being an extra number. Like you've actually got to try and take over, and so you got to give them so much praise and really give them their due credit for how they've been playing so far. Now they have lost Jacob early on. So for one of the first times that I can recollect, the MongolZ have a player advantage to kick things off early doors on a CT side for Nuke. Can they control this? That's going to be a big grenade. That's a lot of damage between 3 players.
Pushing up in front again, Sinio's very aggressive move, and he's going to get the second one as well on Prism. Doesn't even reload that gun, just throws it away and picks up the AK instead. I actually like that from Sinio. Again, they're being beat up so much, but he's playing like everything is fine, and that it's just a no. Like you kind of have to, right? Because if you start playing very scared and timid, and you're running away from every fight, that's obviously not the way to get back into this. So there is, I think there is a fake it till you make it kind of element in this, where you just have to pretend like it's another normal day and hope that, you know, eventually reality catches up a little bit. They do win the round, and for once, actually with a chance to, you know, build a slight economy, make things a little bit more interesting here. A 3rd round on the board is not bad.
So that's kind of curious. Just building on that point I said before about not remembering too many times that the MongolZ had the opening pick. I did just look at the stats. That was their 3rd time they've got the opening pick in 10 rounds. To put that in perspective, Prism has 3 opening picks in his favor by himself covered.
Yeah. That's hard to deal with. We know how much of a correlation there is between those opening kills and winning the rounds for obvious reasons. Here's potentially another one. I was going to say Prism. I think he was very favored in winning that fight. Bit of an awkward spray, perhaps. And Blitz will make it out on top. So, still, they get to walk down. Nobody really blowing open the smokes out there. And just going for some of the traditional smoke walls here. Blitz outside. He's going to catch Jacob. I think, unfortunately, that was a question of Jacob just having thrown the smoke towards Mini. And if I'm right about looking at the radar there, it looked like Jacob was way out in the open. He probably could have thrown that in a safer way. So my guess is going to be that if we see the replay, we're going to see Jacob kind of making a silly mistake, if I had to take a quick guess. But 5-on-3, surely, Vince, they can never lose this.
He's gone and done it. He's gone and done it. Smoke's now coming out. Mazinho, though, is in position, and the smoke does nothing to betray his vision. So a free pick. He can hear the pit-patter of footsteps, but Hafa still punishes him. 9-10 is there to return the favor, and so the ebb and flow of this round will go in favor of the MongolZ. Finally, they get a... I was going to say a clutch for a second there. 5v3s will probably feel like a clutch at this point, but they get it done clean. 4 players left alive. They picked up some AKs as well. There is a way they can get a 5th round on this half, which might be good enough.
Deep breath here. I mean, I don't disagree. 5th round would be super sick. All right, he had already thrown the grenade, so fair enough. But he was a bit out in the open. Not necessarily a mistake for Jacob, just a nice shot from Blitz. I take it all back. 7-5. I mean, again, if they win the pistol, there is a way to claw this back. I would love to see. Like I said, I feel like we deserve a 3rd map just to get, you know, get MongolZ fired up and you know, Apogee, sure, like they probably like to win 2-0, but for the entertainment, I'd love something different. It's going to be a Tech9 trying to make its way through the smoke there, and not so successful. Prism goes down, Jacob's next, and unfortunately, they are getting slaughtered a little bit here. One Mac 10, actually, a lot of Galil being picked up here, and suddenly we're into a 2 versus 3, and this is losable if you're the Mongols. You must, this is where you want the basics, right? Have a conversation, the bomb is not planted yet, you're not in any hurry, take a deep breath and coordinate this retake.
I do like that Apogee, though, have the wherewithal and the clarity in the chaos to just pause, pump the brakes a little bit. They got tons of time. They don't need to go hell for leather with that forced plant. They have lost half of though, and 9-10 comes in and bags himself a second frag, landing 10 for the half. A good comeback from the Mongols. It's easy to look at some of those rounds and kind of make jest and make fun of how poorly they were able to execute clutches and player advantages, but the marking of the truly great teams are the ones that are not playing even close to their top level, but they're still grinding out rounds, and they do get a fifth. There is still a way forward for the Mongols. It's not going to be easy, but there is a path forward.
Yeah, and you know, that should be the backbone. You're absolutely right. A team like the Mongols, they've played, you know, maybe not as much Counter-Strike as Apogee have because they're not necessarily participating in a lot of these online tournaments, but still, it's not the first time they've had terrible beginnings to best of threes, and at some point you should be able to develop a sort of internal confidence in the team that even bad starts can be converted into really big victories, and that's what we're going to be aiming for. And we've been here before, we're just going to do it again. Hopefully that's the kind of stuff that they're going to be able to do. But you know, a lot depends on, you know, how bad did the atmosphere get during the first and the first map or into the second, the first half of this one even. So I guess we'll see if there is enough energy left for them here. Second half, Pistol is going to be really interesting. I'm curious to see if the Mongols have got anything special prepared. We are seeing one smoke, a couple of decoys as well, funnily enough, but yeah, one smoke, one HE, so not going to be the most elaborate execute, but they are already off to the races, blowing open the door and running straight into HFA. He's going to be taking down 9-10 already. Demo with a couple of good shots. The dualies are decimating them, leaving Blitz on his own. He's still got 20 bullets left, and I was going to say, you probably should fall back here. There's no reason to give him a chance. You already know that these rounds could be lost because, you know, you won a couple in the first half, so don't give Blitz a chance.
So difficult to see how he can press forward here with 2 players down on the ramp side of B. Julie's going first. They're the first to fall. He's got the 2 kills he was looking for. There's a glimmer of hope, but he loses 60% of his health in the process. Tickling the bomb, trying to draw out one of the players who he assumes was in decon, but that's not the case. Hypex playing possum on the double doors, now going to control room, and he has another player in ramp. And Blitz take this opportunity to head to A site. He's played this clutch so damn well.
Oh, there's no way it's there. A Glock and potentially an ace clutch coming up. He doesn't have the health for it. He certainly doesn't have any backup, but he does have the element of surprise, and the fact that he's made to walk his way all the way outside, he might have the time for it. It would be a 10-second defuse, so they're going to be a long time waiting for this. And are they even expecting this? Is anyone going to think about the fact that he could be up on the high ground? I doubt it. They've just made the drop-down blitz. This might be the 1,000 IQ play, but no! He gets caught instead. He needed a straight headshot, and Hypex just barely catches him there. Look at that defuse coming in. It's going to be unbelievably close anyway. Jacoby's on it, and it's down to the very last second. But the clutch is denied, and Apogee, it's got to be a sigh of relief. I really thought Blitz had that.
So did I, man. And I think, you know, Blitz is going to be so disappointing. He's such an intelligent player. Obviously, the IGL of the Mongols, one of the best fragging IGLs out there, and he played this to perfection. But I think he got carried away. Where his position was, he could see the bomb from just shoulder peeking from heaven. You can see the trajectory.
Yeah.
He could have just looked out, peeked it, went back in again. But obviously, he probably didn't realize there was no kit for Apogee. It's very easiest for us to tell that information in the heat of the moment. Maybe he wasn't so sure.
Yeah, but you're not wrong. The fact is, if he had delayed his own death by even a second, you could tell that they wouldn't have got the defense at the end there. So it is very, very close. Such is Counter-Strike, though. Apogee now with a 3-round lead. And the Mongols, nobody's surprised with the bomb plant. They are going to be buying into this round. Mostly with pistols, but they do have that 1 AK on Blitz. So one good entry, one start to the round, and it might just work out. Jacob, yeah, I wouldn't stick around. It's fine to take the peek and hope to catch somebody off guard, but once you've been spotted, it's better to get out. Yeah, better to keep yourself alive, keep those numbers intact. A
economy for MongolZ is looking pretty grim. They did fully invest. So Apogee on the brink of maybe securing a 10th round, because effectively it would be an eco into the next, assuming this doesn't get too close for comfort. But that's a lot of assumptions. They still got to get across the finish line first. They spot the players from range. Hypex keeping himself alive at long range. The MP9 tries to spray in and rattle a few domes, but nothing forthcoming as of yet. Hypex finally gets his man. 30 seconds left on the clock. Prism caught out in the open, runs out of ammunition and health.
I get what Prism was trying to do, but that's way too aggressive. Again, they have the man lead. You don't really have to jump down towards hell to try and win that fight. They might be okay anyway. Seems like MongolZ are running out of a little bit of steam. I said that Hypex actually does go down. And Demos stuck up here, waiting for somebody to come up the ladder. Nobody's really coming, not yet anyway. And there we go. He spins around for the shot. He took down Messino inside of the bomb site, and he was ready for that ladder play to come out. So very well done. The Polish team, they're back on track right now. And I mean, they're heavy favorites, right? You can see. Oh, no.
Oh, man. Well, they say like a picture speaks 1,000 words, right? I think that spells an entire Bible. Techno is not having a good time.
Yeah. Hands under his glasses. He doesn't want to see what's happening in front. Okay.
Understandable as well, how things have been looking. And this is the eco I was talking about. It's effectively a deco. We've got Deagles in play for all 5 players and really nothing else. You've got no utility left in between the 5 of them. They're just looking for raw jewels. And I've got to say, the way the MongolZ have been bested multiple times, like, that doesn't even seem like it's going to go in their favor either.
No, I doubt it. Bit of a shooting gallery out here. Jacob reinvigorated by the fact that they were only going to have pistols. He's been bored a bit, and, in terms of kills, I guess, not as many, not as hard-hitting as he was on the opening map. So he wanted to climb back up the scoreboard and catch up to H4 and Hypex at the moment, who are playing very well. So quick round, no real danger, no real surprises. They get to make a bit of cash as well on the CT side, and everything right now is coming together. This is a collapse. The MongolZ. I mean, I guess they're paving the way for an interesting comeback if they can make it out of the O2 bracket, because I can't see them escaping that right now.
I like the way you think, Anders. You're spending this pretty horrendous start to the tournament in like yeah, they're just doing it, guys. Just wait. It's gonna be a chef's kiss. What is it they say? Absolute cinema. There it is. I'm now a Zoomer as well. I'm one of you. Nice,
Vince. I'm gonna listen. It starts here. I'll get you on TikTok soon. I've got a lot of brain rot out there that I'm gonna start pasting you day and night, like 3:30 in the morning. I'm gonna send you the clips. Actually, a lot of them are, a lot of the memes I follow happen to be Polish. There's a Boba Kurwa meme that I'm still quite satisfied with. So I'll get you up to speed. Don't worry about it.
Okay, I appreciate that. Again, that's the kind of education I want, Anders. Screw reading and maths and all that useless stuff.
That's in the past. We're living past in a new age here. Okay, nicely done. Lobby push coming out. Again, this is a bit of a killer instinct, right? They're already winning, and they're basically saying, it's up to you guys to try and find a solution for this, but while you're trying to figure that out, let's just see if we can make it extra uncomfortable by suddenly pushing in and being aggressive. Blitz is going to get caught as well, and the MongolZ, an absolutely critical round. They finally have weapons, and they're getting nothing out of it.
Good entry from Techno, though. They're trying to keep them afloat, but that ship has been sunk. More holes being poked in the hull. And Techno, who was weakened, riddled with bullets. Apogee up to 11. Is it going to happen, Anders? Are we going to see a comfortable, convincing 2-0 with the MongolZ going down into the 0-2 bracket? And there are some big teams down there already, as we've already touched on. Like, this is getting terrifying right now.
It's a complete inverse of what anyone would have expected. But again, I'm not sad about it because Apogee have been fighting really hard. Been covering them a lot of the CCT stuff, and it's been a struggle down there, no question about it. There are a lot more teams down there like Apogee. It's not like this is the only team that's out there that can do this kind of thing, so it's cool to see. Now, can they finish what they started here? The defense is on. Prism, they do run right through the incendiary, and Techno, a stunning opening kill. You need that kind of stuff here. He's going to go down afterwards, but it doesn't matter. He did his job, and I think they're going to be able to defend this one. Now, I will say this. If they were really feeling incredibly bold, they would try and get Jacob to the high ground to do the ninja defuse. Probably not the, you know, if you wanted to think about the, you know, what's the highest percentage chance to win, maybe that isn't it, but it's one of my favorite things on Nuke, because very often T's will run away from the bomb plant, and if you run down and you have the kit smoke, you can get away with one. Just saying, that would be the funniest way to win this round.
It'd also be a way that, you know, if he died in the process, let's assume that they did all focus him and they just spammed him through the smoke. The bomb radius on Nuke is so huge that if he takes down 2 or 3 players with him as a result, that can kind of be worth it long term.
Yeah.
Because the economy is pretty solid for the CTs. That being said, though, of course, you're always going to play for yourself. You're going to play for your own economy and keep your kind of destiny and your fate in your own hands. So I definitely don't like the you know, going back and saving the AWP and the AK. And I think a player was around $1,500 as well, so it allows you to drop for him. But I like the way you think, Anders. It would have been sick. Didn't quite happen this time, though.
It's one of those things that it always just goes unnoticed, you know? It happens every once in a while. I think the other map that you could do it on is Anubis on the A-bomb site. Like, it's way more doable than people realize. I'm predicting and I'll guarantee you there are going to be more of those ninja diffusers happening on Anubis because it's so underutilized. And on Anubis, it's worse because the bomb radius on Anubis is even more devastating if you're near that A-bomb site. So I would say we're going to see more of that. But for now, we're back to regular Counter-Strike. So lost Techno at the start of this one. 4 versus 5 here. Yeah, nice shot coming through. And Jacob's going to be taking down Blitz. It's another round that starts not exactly in favor of the MongolZ here.
Yeah, 2 pretty free picks. Like, Jacob loses 54 HP, but he's still able to stand his ground in ramp. Flashes are good, but they're not able to capitalize on it. He's able to fall back. He could get more kills from this. And even though he doesn't, he's got tons of info. He has weakened Mazzinho and allows Hypix now to get in position with his AWP. Does fire off the warning shot, though. Not able to collect any kills. And so he's forced back from the Molotov. Backs away. Mazzinho, good frag through on Decon, but they lose 9-10 in the process.
Still a chance here. I mean, this is a 5-on-3 that's turned back into a 2-on-3. So honestly, for the MongolZ, it's not necessarily a bad development in the round now. Bomb going to be planted here. They need to keep this. I mean, they don't want to be fighting for overtime. You've got to try and do something else. Look at this potential here. Just waiting for it. AWP. All right. Jacob is on the other side. But I was going to say, they have all of the utility. They have the Molotov. They have the smoke as well. They've got the kits. Right now, they're just looking to see if they can find the last couple of MongolZ players. Mazzinho and Senzu. Bit of an interesting position, but this Molotov, that's what I said. First start of it in. Hypix does go down, and Jacob is now on his own. Spray is pretty good, but Senzu, just stay alive. Another couple of seconds, all he needs to be bought here. And Jacob not going to be able to get the job done, even if he had. You could hear that bomb is ticking down very low in the background, so a massive victory here for the MongolZ, right? It's a 5-on-3 that they managed to turn into their favor.
I think he died to the bomb as well at the end, so all of MongolZ also perished in that confrontation, and their money's not great right now, so just puts an extra level of spice into this one, even though they have won the round. Interesting purchase on both teams. I think both teams can squeak out a buy, but this is where it gets a little bit concerning. You can see that they get a buy, they got an AWP in play, but Senzu's low, Mazzinho is low as well, 9-10 is low. So neither team is feeling comfortable at this point.
One smoke wall goes up. Jacob trying to blow it open. It's just still one wall. There are a lot of teams that will throw a second smoke wall so that the CTs just have no idea which one to blow open. It's a radical development on Nuke that's been happening in the modern days. Oh, the timing is absolutely crazy. Senzu, he was already being spammed down from the other side, and then Demo peeks right into him. So another 5-on-3. How many of these can they actually win, MongolZ? Because this is... It doesn't look like this is the path for victory, does it?
It certainly doesn't. Ooh, nice shot, though. That could keep them in it, Anders. That could be the moment. They have outside control as well. They got time to play with. Now, you're talking about almost like this war of attrition. They're just slowly being faded out of existence, but that snapped them back into reality. Good frag from Techno. Catches Haffa completely unawares. That gets them back into an even keel. Time's starting to dwindle, though. The sands of time running dry, and they have to try and make something happen. And it's actually Hypix that's taking the initiative, pushing round from ramp. And oh, he misses his shot! Uncharacteristic, and he gets punished for it. A lifeline given out to the MongolZ, and they grab it with both hands.
What is happening? back-to-back 3v5s that the MongolZ managed to pick up somehow. You know what's so crazy as well? If Hypex had succeeded in getting that kill, the bomb was actually towards T-spawn. So there is a chance that he could have stopped the bomb from even going anywhere if he just kind of held the angle to begin with. But he can't know it, and ultimately it'll be the MongolZ here coming away with this one. So an 8-11 scoreline here. Demo, he doesn't have the kit. If he had a kit and a smoke here, maybe there is some crazy chance that he could run onto the site and do something, but without it, you could see it's not going to be happening. So, the dream is still alive. Third map, it's not out of the question, although it does feel like a little bit similar to the conversation that we were having on the opening map of Ancient, which is even when the MongolZ win, you're not super confident. You don't feel like, yeah, they're back, this is it. It just feels like, oh, they're just barely making it.
No, exactly. I completely echo that sentiment. And, you know, looking at Hypex there, I mean, it's easy for us to, you know, hindsight's 2020, and it's easy for us to armchair sort of like play by play and look back. But if he lands that shot onto Squeaky and stays alive, I mean, I think this round just goes the way of Apogee. He found the perfect timing. There's like 20 seconds, something like that, left on the clock. Here we go. It's this moment here. 28 seconds left.
Yeah.
If 9-10 gets put down by Hypex, that entire dynamic shifts on its head. We could be looking at a 12-7. Instead, it's an eco for Apogee with that saved AK in play.
I myself am a big fan of, you know, armchair sort of anything, especially if I have the benefit of hindsight. It does make me a lot smarter, Vince.
Right.
Like my ability to invest into the stock market once I've already seen the graphs is incredible. Like I could have made all the right moves, you know. Unfortunately, not into the future. But looking backwards,
could be a
definitely.
multi-billionaire, bro. You know.
Oh, 1 million %. Like I'm on it. Blitz is going to go down at the start of the round here. There is an AK on demo, and the fact that now there's another gun on the ground somewhere means if the round drags on long enough, someone could go and find it. Senzu is going to be winning the fight against Prism, which is probably great news. Don't want to be losing to the USP. But again, it's hard to feel confident that the MongolZ are just going to straight up win a round like this because they've thrown away quite a few weird rounds already.
Oh, exactly. That's why I think we're both a bit shook watching the MongolZ, because it's been an interesting trajectory. I feel like when they first burst on the scene, we were probably skeptical as to how good these guys really are. And they built up this kind of trust by winning Yellow Compass, by being consistently in the playoffs, by beating teams like Na'Vi, Vitality, all of these kind of heavy-hitting squads. And so you always feel like there's a chance they can bounce back. But again, it's the nature and how they've been losing some of these rounds that really makes you just a little bit concerned. Demo continues to put that AK that was saved, the antique, to use, and sprays down a second player straight to the dome. And although it will be going the way of the MongolZ, and they will bring this back to an 11-9 score, they're making it costly once again. And if they can keep that AK in play, it really bolsters their buy going into the next. And in actual fact, it's just got a little bit better, Anders. They picked up a second AK and a third. This would be a huge W for Apogee, all things considered.
Yeah, big swing back. Underrated. Not a lot of people consider stealing when you just need more money, but obviously Apogee are proving it's well worth it. I might start a podcast myself, Vince. It's a popular thing. I know, you know, cold showers, investing into wild crypto stuff is the current, but I think stealing and you know pyramid schemes, you know, underrated business models potentially, you know. So.
Oh God.
So there is that.
Continues to incriminate himself. Oh no.
It's in a video game, of course. I have to remember to say that. Stealing,
Right, yeah.
but in a video game. That's how I survive in court, Vince.
Yes.
He did say it was in a
exactly.
video game.
So I gave you the assist there. That's one of the perks of having a budget Anders with you. You know, I've got you back, twin brother. I've got you back.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Also, if I do get convicted, I'll send you to jail instead. So it's gonna be fine.
You rat.
Here we go. Jacob outside, and what a headshot it is now. He is shut down eventually, but that second kill especially. He is so lethal. And again, it's the MongolZ having to fight their way back at a man disadvantage. Everything is a struggle. And in spite of that, you know, it's 9-11. That just 2 rounds, they've really managed to walk their way back into this game in spite of all of the odds. They need to keep doing it, though. One slip up here, and it could cost them everything. Hafer, I love the fact that he's not reaping. It is not worth it. Just don't do it. You have the 2-man lead. Close this game now. Send MongolZ down in that 0-2 bracket. Don't give them a chance to get this one either to a win or even into overtime.
I mean, it's time on the clock, but their options are so limited. Having to push out a squeaky, this claustrophobic avenue to death, it would feel like. And if they do get out of here, they got Haffa, who's been on point with his aim. 19 frags. Flash tossed in. Haffa's now spotted a pixel. And that'll be enough to get Prism activated. Player up in heaven as well. It is looking so difficult for the MongolZ to even pick up a kill from this position. But we saw Haffa earlier pull out a miracle clutch. Maybe it's the time of the MongolZ. Senzu with one and 9-10 with a second. They're starting to edge their way back onto the side. They can go in for this plant as well. And there's not too much the Hypex can do about it. Senzu punishes him in the meanwhile. And our demo caught in an awkward spot of, do I even bother going for this or do I just save? The MongolZ, with daylight robbery, finally get their hands on a clutch that should not be.
If they end up making this comeback, Vince, it's going to go down as one of the most absurd ways to claw your way back into a game in recent history, because we're not just talking about them outright winning a bunch of rounds. You know, that happens sometimes. You have a slow start, then you get to the second half, and then everyone's fired up, and you win a bunch of rounds where you get all the entries, and you're just, you know, you're just a better team all of a sudden. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the MongolZ having to win back-to-back-to-back 3v4s, 3v5s. They are all the time at a massive disadvantage, and somehow they keep winning those positions. Like, this should never be happening. It's currently shaping up to be the most unlikely comeback that I've seen in a very long time. But fair play to them. I mean, if they're going to do this, I'm going to say it as well. If this goes into overtime, I'm instantly flipping my prediction to go back to the MongolZ. I think if that happens, they are going to be so ready to capitalize. But we're not there yet. They have to either win the map or get it into overtime. But if it happens, I absolutely think they can return. Oh, look at the frustration. Bogdan behind them as well. He's not happy.
Expected rattery from flip-flop Anders. Apogee are winning. No, wait, guys. It's actually the MongolZ. I never doubted. Never doubted it for a second.
Jump ship. You know, these guys are sinking. I'm not going down with that.
That's understandable.
Again, why would you?
Just the raw experience, right? Like being in OTs, being in these kind of positions. Like, surely the MongolZ have the upper hand at that point.
That would be my guess. But I also would have definitely predicted that MongolZ were going to win 2-0. So stop.
True.
Don't listen to my predictions, except if I'm talking about the stock market, then invest all your money. So 1 round lead now. I can't easily summarize how it's got to this, but somehow it has. Hypex starting off. At this point, we know it doesn't really mean anything, but again, it's a nice start for Apogee once more. And he's going to stick around for 1 more kill. He did have a teammate with him there towards the crossfire position, but 4 versus 5 and a lot of damage. Demo, I think he's managed to spam down Messino and Techno a little bit, and there's a flank coming in as well. Again, Apogee have everything they need to win this round right now. They're in great positions. They've got all the health. They've got only 30 seconds on the T side. MongolZ, they should lose this round every time, Vince.
They should. Should being the operative word, but 9-10 says screw that, throws the script straight in the bin. As is so often been the case, this has been like a Twilight Zone game of Counter-Strike. Everything you think should and will happen has been the total opposite, but Jacob trying to put some kind of sanity back underway in this matchup. Senzu, though, with 8 seconds, strikes again. There's just not enough time. The plant's going to be so close, he may have just snuck it out. It's going to be a millisecond away, but instead it's too late. Apogee get the round win and now have 2 match points.
Oh my god, I wish he had the second. He just needed, yeah, not even a second, a 1/10 of a second more, and he has that bomb plant, but unfortunately, the bomb was just a little bit too far away. Timeout called now for the MongolZ as they are fighting for overtime. They're trying to get back into this. What a struggle this game has been.
I think struggle is a pretty solid way of explaining this one and describing it for the MongolZ. For Apogee, I'd say it's been more elation. It's been stressful for sure and anxiety-ridden, especially here on Nuke. But can you imagine the relief, the ecstasy, if they can take down the MongolZ, a game that practically nobody would have gave them a hope to win. And yet here we stand, 2 chances, 2 opportunities to get it done.
It's also so crazy because a lot of the normal analysis that you would make of some of these rounds in terms of, you know, like you would praise Apogee for getting all these opening kills, which they've been doing a fantastic job of, but unfortunately the rest of the script just isn't really following that. they're getting opening kills, and then they're losing a bunch of those rounds. So it is kind of hard to make sense of. I do love this, though. We said it earlier, to try and close the game. They're not just playing the standard Counter-Strike. They are going aggressive. Now, Hypex got the opening kill last round by doing something similar, and he's doubling down on it, saying they're never going to expect me to be here once again, which honestly, if you're the Mongols and you died at that same position, you are going to be frustrated. And he's got so much map control as well. It's going to leave more space for the rest of the CT side to move around the map. And as a result, they've got 2 people already down below, and it's because, weirdly, of Hypex really forward position over at the lobby position there.
Grenade is a parting gift. Demo will connect onto Blitz. He did go for that preemptive one-tap round the corner, which may have given this one away. It's like you're too confident on this downstairs push. We're not buying. We're suspect of that one. Molotov's down with a flashbang, though, and an explosion out from Techno and Senzu. Tag-teaming themselves in tandem to get 2 frags. Get themselves into an advantageous position, and it should be a post-plant on top of it.
Yeah, and you could see Apogee have already made the choice. Back on out of here. They don't have that much money in the bank. The Mongols, you almost would want to say that they should try and hunt some of these guns. Not like they have a lot of cash themselves, but it's kind of a weird calculation here, because if you do get some of the guns away, you're almost guaranteed overtime. But obviously, on the other side, if you lose everything yourself, could be a bit awkward on that side. But yeah, it's going to be 11 rounds here. Mongols so close. I'm so curious. I really want this to go to overtime. I'm so curious if our prediction about them spinning it around is going to be correct. If the experience of being the better team here is going to actually kick in, getting to overtime. They're 1 round away, Vince. They've almost got it.
I mean, it's one of the kind of hot talking points about the Mongols, and also, well, ex-Eternal Fire, now Aurora, is one of the narratives that we keep talking about is like they're choking in terms of big games, in terms of not being able to get things across the line when it really counts. But they have been forged through the fire and flames of these close comeback sort of OT games. We've seen multiple times them come back from vast deficits and get Ws. So you'd have to give them the slight edge here, but it's the way that Apogee are playing. Like, it almost feels like they're playing with no kind of like worry, no fear. Look at Jacob again. A really important round. Just pushes red container, gets the frag backs away, and Prism gets the same. They just are unrelenting. They're not showing any respect across to the Mongols. They're playing their own game, and so far it's been working out a storm.
I think you're exactly right, and it's fantastic. This is how you defeat a better opponent. You have to not respect them. You have to pretend like they're just any other opponent that you're going to be up against. Don't worry about where they are in the world ranking. Just shut it down. Hypex going to be dropping 9, 10. And the dream of any kind of an overtime, it's further away than it's ever been. Massinio and Senzu, they've got a little bit of time here, but they do not have the aim for it. Jacob takes another one. He's up to 21. He's once again overtaken everybody in the server. And it's just a young gun left alone. What would be the clutch of a lifetime if he could pick it up, but there's no reason that he should. Hypex will take him down, and Apogee with a shocking upset, defeating the Mongols in studio on LAN. What a day for the Polish team.
The relief is palpable, Anders. You can see it in their faces. They're not getting carried away, but on the other side of the coin, it's